Every Pokemon game has gyms, 8 of them to be exact, and they all contain different typings, different architecture, and different trainers. But the one thing that ties all of them together is that you have to go in there, progress through it, and beat the strongest trainer in there, who's called the gym leader. And you need to do this in order to get the gym badge and get certain TMs to beat the game. But what if we could create the optimal Pokemon gym? I'm talking about a perfect gym. Across 86 gyms, which span 10 regions, we're going to take all the gym leaders, all the typings, all the gym layouts, and create a gym that is literally perfect in its design, and it's going to be as difficult as possible to beat this gym without it being too difficult and too impossible. So let's go. First of all, let's decide on typing. Well, this question really depends if it's an early game, mid game, or late game gym. If our gym is early game, then the perfect type for the gym should be dragon type, because dragon types are resistant to fire, water, and grass types. And so it makes it really difficult to beat because most trainers at this point in the game are relying on one of the 3 starter Pokemon. And also only fairy types and fellow dragon types are strong against dragon. And most players are not going to be able to find fairy or dragon types this early in the game. You're not going to catch a Salamence on Route 1. Dragon types are usually late game Pokemon like Hydreigon or Dragonite that appear very late and towards the end of the game. Now on the other hand, if we open our gym in the late to middle game, then there's no doubt that steel type gyms are the best choice. Because statistically, steel type Pokemon have the biggest number of resistances. They're resistant against 10 different types in total. But because we want to make our gym as difficult as possible, we're going to select an early game dragon type gym just to make it extra difficult for the trainer to progress. Now comes the next most important decision, selecting a gym leader. Our gym leader not only has to have a great personality, but they have to have an extremely high fail rate, meaning that most trainers usually fail at beating this gym and take multiple attempts at it. And if we look at all the dragon type gym leaders, we have a couple of choices. We have Claire from the Johto region, Drayden from the Unova region, Iris, again from the Unova region, and finally Raihan from Pokemon Sword and Shield. Now, if we're looking at just personality, there's no doubt that Iris takes the win because after all, she was in an entire season of the Pokemon anime and we have so much information about her personality and how much of a character she is. But Claire and Drayden definitely take a close second. As for highest fail rate, I looked at a lot of community data as well as anecdotes, and I determined that Claire from the Johto region has the highest fail rates. Now Claire is the 8th and final gym leader in the Johto region, and the reason why so many people fail at their first attempt at beating her is because she has a Kingdra which poses immense problems because it's both water and dragon type, and it's not really weak to anything except fellow dragon types because fairy types weren't around back then in the Johto region. And back then in those games you couldn't catch a dragon type until you beat Claire and entered the Dragon's Den. So you basically just had to throw your Pokemon at her, land a couple critical hits, and hope she didn't heal. Because of these factors, we decided that our gym leader is going to be the one, the only Claire. And if you're still hesitant about it, another reason that she's really good for the job is because after you beat her in Gold and Silver, she actually refuses to give you the gym badge and makes you go to the Dragon's Den and makes you do yet another side quest before you get the gym badge. And this is the exact kind of stubbornness we need for a strong gym leader. Next, let's talk about the layout of the gym and the trainers. Now typically a Pokemon gym is going to have around 4 or 5 trainers before facing the gym leader, and in total around 6 or 7 trainers because some trainers will be optional depending on the route you want to take. Obviously some gyms are going to be way easier than this, like Brock's gym in Pokemon Fire Red and Leaf Green, which literally only has 2 trainers before you face Brock. However, other gyms like Clay's gym in Black and White have 7 trainers in addition to being completely pitch black, which confuses you to no end. So let's go with something in between. Our gym is going to have 4 mandatory battles before hitting the gym leader, and an extra 2 optional battles if you take the wrong route or fall into one of the traps in the gym. Now of these trainers, it's going to take way too long to select individual teams for them, but let's just say there's going to be 3 single battles and 1 double battle. And because it's early game and dragon type, some of the Pokemon they're going to have will include Dratini, Axew, Bagon, Gible, and so on. And in the double battle, we're going to put a level 15 Trapinch and a level 16 Tyrant to give the trainer an extra little challenge before approaching our leader. Now as for Claire's Pokemon, we're just going to max out the team here with 6 Pokemon. We're gonna have a couple easy ones at the start like Gibble and Noibat. And near the end, we're just gonna go all out with a Gabite and a Turtonator. And the final Pokemon is gonna be a level 25 Dragonair. Now technically I know Dratini only evolves into Dragonair at level 30, so this is impossible. But as you know, there's a history of under-leveled Dragon-type Pokemon who are owned by gym leaders and champions. I mean, just look at Lance's Dragonite, which is actually 10 levels below what it should be. So because of this, I think we can have this exception. Also, I feel like Claire should have a Horsey. It is her signature Pokemon, and we don't want to take a signature Pokemon away from their trainer. Next, let's decide on the traps and puzzles in the Pokemon Gym. As you know, one of the defining features of a Pokemon Gym is the fact that it has a puzzle built into the structure, and that players need to solve this puzzle and get around obstacles in order to reach the gym leaders. Now, I selected 2 of the most difficult puzzles in Pokemon Gyms, and we're going to take both elements of these and combine them to make an extra difficult puzzle for our gym. Now first, if we take a look at Clay's gym in Pokemon Black and White, it contains many different platforms and escalators which take you in between these areas. And because the spots in between the platforms are completely dark, it forms a maze which you can easily get lost in and repeat your steps before you reach Clay. It normally takes a trainer up to 25 to 30 minutes to even find Clay. So I feel like we could incorporate the maze aspect and make the gym pitch black. And let's also make it so that light only appears when you defeat a trainer. And let's also make it so that the area only gets lit up after you defeat the trainer. This way, your chance of completing the gym goes up the more trainers you defeat. But the chance of you just getting past the trainers without battling them is extremely low. Another thing we can take from is the Mistralton City Gym in Black and White 2. So in these games, one of the key features of the gym is that it has fans that blow you back if you miss the timing of your movement. And these can blow you back all the way to the start of the gym. So in our version, we're going to have different platforms, like I said previously, that are all dark, pitch black, and it only gets lit up when you beat a trainer. And it's also going to be structured so that if you go to the wrong platforms, the platforms open up and you get taken to the bottom of the gym. And from there, you will have to start all over again. It's sort of like Snakes and Ladders, where a snake opens up and you have to slide all the way back to the bottom. Now let's move on to something equally important, the vibes of the gym. Now, every gym in Pokemon history has had a distinct vibe which makes it memorable for the players and overall a fun experience. You see, we don't want our gym to just be another carbon copy of the Blackthorn City Gym, which is Claire's gym. We want a distinctive appearance and a style of music that's picked specifically for our gym. So it's not only appealing, but it also has the vibe of an eerie, like dragon-type gym. So let's take a look at some of the designs for dragon-type gyms in Pokemon. For example, you have the Blackthorn City Gym, as I mentioned, which is a lava-filled dungeon. Or the Appaloosa City Gym in Pokemon Black and White, which is shaped in the form of ascending dragons that you have to connect in order to battle the trainers. Now based on these, I feel like our theoretical gym needs to be both dark and also have that sort of medieval vibe because of the dragon type theme. And based on these requirements, I found a ROM hack called Pokemon Crown, which has the perfect aesthetic we're looking for. This game is a medieval ROM hack of Pokemon, and it sort of has that medieval architecture where gyms are built like the interiors of castles, and you have trainers dressed up as knights. And I think this is the ideal environment for our Pokemon gym. Or if you don't prefer this look, here's another image of what our gym could possibly look like from the inside. Now that's just the interior of the gym. The exterior is equally important. Because of course, we can't just settle for a standard Pokemon gym exterior like a dome-shaped building and a Pokeball sign on top of it. Oh no, that would be way too simplistic. Instead of this, we're going to aim for something that captures the castle look we're looking for, because again, the interior is going to be medieval and dark, and it's going to have lamps and knights. And I believe I found the perfect exterior for the vibe we're looking for. I found this purple Japanese style building in a texture pack on Pinterest, and I think it's a perfect example of what our Pokemon gym could look like on the outside, especially because we're going to have platforms that open up and throw you to the bottom. So because of that, we're going to need multiple floors, and this building has 3 floors. And also the purple color palette matches the dragon type aesthetic we're going for, and the exterior also to a degree matches the old style or medieval look that we're going for. And now for the most important part of the gym. Let's say after 2, 3, 4, or maybe 5 attempts, some lucky trainer manages to come into our gym, pass all the puzzles, and beat the gym leader. well, we have to give them a badge as well as a TM. Now, out of all the possible gym badges, I think the Anastar City gym badge is the coolest looking. I know it's a psychic type gym badge, but at the end of the day, purple is also the color of dragon types, so we could just repurpose it for dragon types. And I think after such a difficult, hard-fought battle, the player deserves the TM Draco Meteor. Now, Draco Meteor deals 130 damage and is literally one of the strongest TMs in the game. So there you have it. We've just laid out all the elements of the perfect Pokemon gym. Hit the thumbs up and subscribe if you want to see this become a reality, and we might actually make this gym in a ROM hack in the next video.